Top of the morning, everybody. Eric Solobox out in the shop today. I just had an encounter with a marsupial out front. A possum. Like, it didn't seem to care that I was there at all. It damn near walked right up to me, which was pretty cool. I'm thinking it was either pregnant or just eating really well. Looks super, super healthy. So anyway, I've actually heard that they're really intelligent, possibly more so than a dog, and that they're actually pretty clean little animals. So I don't mind sharing the property with it. I thought it was really pretty cool to see it. And then I went back out there, and in the same area, I ended up seeing a hummingbird, which is pretty remarkable that they can even survive in this climate this time of year. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, today I thought we would talk a little bit about what I bring with me on adventure motorcycling trips to cook with. And so I thought I'd show you some of this stuff. This is all Stanley gear, except for my coffee cup over there. I get those at the Harbor Freight. They're like $6. They're double walled. They keep things hot for a long time. Both of my bikes have cup holders. I ride with an open face helmet on my bike for a reason, and primarily that is so that I can sip coffee while I'm riding. Coffee is really my only vice. Like, I don't smoke marijuana. I don't drink alcohol. The acid finally wore off. Just joking. Or am I? So anyway, I thought I would show you some of this gear that's, this is all Stanley stuff. Cool factor, you can't always quantify cool, but when you see it, you know it. So like, I was at the Walmart one day. This is just years and years ago. I was in the camping area and I saw this little guy, and I think they were about $16 at the time. And I was like, oh yeah, that is cool. That is coming home with me. Stainless steel, all this stuff's stainless steel. None of it's light. Like, I used to be into like lightweight backpacking. So it always mattered to me as to how heavy something was or how big or bulky it was. Now that my trips are mostly on a motorcycle, I don't really have to care so much. This last year on the Honda Goldwing, I actually had a Minimate pop-up camper. And so Asher, it was Asher, my 8-year-old son's first big trip on a motorcycle. I didn't have to care so much about what I brought with me because I've got this trailer that's got my dog in it and all my camping, like we're carrying a cooler. Yeah, it was awesome. So anyway, the gear that I carry, I've carried this for years and years and years. A lot of solo stuff was done with this also. Primarily how I use this was mostly just to boil water for, like, once again, like, I like coffee. And so I think I had a GSI pour over thing that would go like into the cup, and I would boil up water, put the grounds in there, and then pour over, which made okay coffee. But this Stanley French press, which I'll get to later, actually makes way better coffee. So I don't really do the coffee with this anymore like I used to. Primarily what I've used this for is hot water for meal in a bag, dehydrated stuff. This is great for that. And so is this little stove. This stove is a Snow Peak. This is actually a titanium stove. I've had this for the better part of probably 20 years. Not the only stove I use when I'm out on trips. I like to use a Coleman double burner that runs on propane also. But primarily, like when I'm out doing solo stuff, like if I go for a solo ride today and I want to bring some stuff to cook lunch, it's probably going to be this, a meal in a bag. Like, I like the lasagna one pretty well. Boil up the water, dump it in the bag, wait 12 to 15 minutes, something like that, and then eat. You're done. So anyway, this came with a couple of plastic cups that were in it. As soon as I got it, I chucked those in the garbage. I've never used them. This is great. You can put some extra stuff in here. Like a lot of times I'll put the stove in here, or a bandana, probably cutlery type of stuff, like fork, spoon, that sort of thing. I'll just store in here. So anyway, but cool factor definitely, and I recognized it right away when I saw this at the Walmart and knew I had to have it. And once I had this, I started to realize that Stanley makes some really cool stuff. And so I think the next thing I bought was the French press, which is this guy here. This makes phenomenal coffee. So, can't remember what I paid for this. I think this was under 25 bucks. Still very much available. Hot water, your grounds go straight in here. Wait a couple of minutes, press it. You won't end up with any grounds inside of your coffee. Lid comes off like so. Pour spout, I've had a little bit of issue. I don't like the shape of this. Sometimes you got to be really careful about your pouring technique because it will dribble down the front of it occasionally. But if you're careful about how you do it, you're not going to run into any problems. Got a little vent here so that it pours somewhat decently. As soon as I saw this, I grabbed one up straight away. Love this piece of kit. Once again, I'm just a big fan of coffee. Like every morning is pretty much the first thing I do. I have a stainless steel French press in the house that I use every single morning to make my coffee. It's about double the size of this. And so French press coffee is really my deal. And that has always worked out well for me. Moving on to the next kit. One thing, you know, I've watched a lot of reviews about this Stanley gear. And I see people, they don't really go into detail about what this is designed to do. I've never seen anybody talk about it, but really what it's for is to slide down so that you can't squeeze the handle. If you squeeze the handle, it can fold. And so maybe people just figure that you're gonna figure it out on your own. I've never seen anybody actually mention it, but that's actually, it does have a function, so. But I've actually also seen people do reviews where they didn't bother to slide it down to lock the handle in place, like they just didn't understand that that's what it's for. This little kit is pretty cool in that it's got a couple little cutting boards. I don't understand why it comes with a spatula. Like the ladle, I get it because this is perfect for doing soup, and it actually comes with a couple of soup bowls also, which is great for Asher and I, because you can either, like you could buy a bunch of veggies and some steak and cut it up and maybe make like a stew in this. It's perfect for that. Or even just buy a couple of cans of the Hungry Man soup, dump it in there, warm it up. You've got your bowls right here, super easy to do. But also, you know, like if you want to use the cutting boards and like cut up veggies and make a soup yourself, that's certainly doable. So this is a really cool one for just, you know, that type of a meal, maybe making rice or something like that. I just have no idea why it would come with a spatula though, because like you couldn't flip anything with this if you had to. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The cutting boards are small, but totally effective. So anyway, I really love how everything nests together too. Once again, you go back to that cool factor. You know, you can't really quantify it, but you know it when you see it. And this stuff just has that cool factor. I like this stuff a lot, so. Anyway, oh, one other thing with this, I dry bake in this. See the, you can see it's got the, where the heat's been on it. So I'll take these little tins and I'll buy stuff like blueberry muffin mix, the type where all you have to do is add water. And if you turn this on its side and turn the stove way, way down to where it's just barely going at all, you can actually shove this tray in there with the blueberry mix in there. Or even, like you could do a nice chili, even straight out of the can in here, and then do your cornbread to go with it. You can dry bake in this too, which is actually pretty cool. Cooking when you're in camp gives you something to do. And so it's fun to get creative in what you want to do in terms of a meal. And so, I mean, what else are you going to do? Just sit around all night and do nothing? You may as well cook something interesting. So this kit here, the big one, it's heavy, by the way. I would never take this like on a hike or something, but you know, when you've got plenty of storage room, like when you've got a trailer behind your motorcycle and it doesn't matter what you bring, I'm totally down to bring this with me. Oh, all of this stuff has like, if you want to do, like this is perfect, like if you wanted to do like a spaghetti or something, if you want to drain water, that's what this is for. It's got a vent at the other end here too. Primarily why I have this particular kit though is actually for doing the dishes, because I can heat up water in this, add a little bit of soap, scrub everything, dump that out, put some cold water in it, go through, rinse everything once, maybe do it a second time, go through it. This is really good for just doing dishes. Most of the time, I mean, like you could do a big spaghetti feed, like if you had more people in camp or something, you could definitely cook in it. It's what it's designed for. But for me, primarily, it's just about getting everything else clean. The main thing I like about this particular kit, this kit's actually designed to feed 4 people, which for me, I don't need to feed 4 people. It's usually just Asher and I, but real tight fit with this part of it. Really why I like this piece is because of the frying pan. This is more about doing breakfast type of stuff. This frying pan is awesome. The bottom of this, like you can get a lot of aluminum cookware for camping and stuff, and it's all just like super thin and super cheap. This is really heavy. Like, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that the base of this is actually, it feels like it's more like 3/8 of an inch. Like it's at least 1/4. It's really heavy. And the reason you want that is because it spreads the heat out really nice. This isn't the best stove for this. It sits on there nicely, but you can still tend to, a lot of the heat is coming straight up into the center of it. And even though it's got a lot of mass there, and it does help to spread it out for things like pancakes or eggs, stuff where you actually want to use the spatula that came with this kit for reasons unknown. Actually, this one I think has a spatula to it also. We'll get to that in a second, but the fact that it spreads the heat out so evenly, it's a nice little pan. You can do bacon and stuff in it. Super cool. So the main thing as far as like cooking goes with this particular kit, it's primarily for breakfast type of stuff for me. And mainly just all about this frying pan, which just absolutely kicks ass. This is the best camping frying pan ever, apart from, you know, maybe doing something where it's cast iron. I love cast iron too, but I'm just not probably going to bring cast iron with me camping. So once again, this kit is designed to do 4 people. So I've got 4 plates, which granted are pretty small, but you know, in a pinch it'll work. Typically speaking, I bring larger plates with us. Once again, a different spatula. This stuff slides together. 4 more bowls. I've got bowls in here that are more like soup bowls. These would be better for like a salad. You can do soup and stuff on too, rice, what have you. This kit also has a really cool little, let me get this apart. It's got a cool little, oh, I forgot, it's got these sport things for 4 people also. I'll probably, when we go out on our next trip, I'll probably pare this down. I'll take some of this stuff out of here because I just don't need it. Got a little mat thing that comes with it that I guess you can set hot stuff on this also. But this little thing is kind of neat in that after you wash everything up, you can actually stick stuff, in here to help it to dry down and stuff too, which is kind of neat. The cutting board is bigger than what's in the other one, so I'm more apt to use this one, honestly. But anyway, I just thought I'd show really quick some of the stuff that I like to take in terms of preparing food when I'm out in camp. So basically, this is the gist of what I bring. When we got the trailer last year, like I started bringing a cooler. I had no idea what I was missing out on there. I'm gearing up. I'm going to build a trailer to pull behind the GS. And so, although I sold the Campmate Mini, the little pop-up, it really gave me some good ideas on what I want to make a trailer do for me, where it's more specific, something that's a little bit more lightweight, that really does specifically what I want it to do. And so I'm looking forward to getting into that build and being able to take all of this stuff with us. Spring is around the corner, and so I'm looking forward to taking Asher. Last year was Asher's first big trip on a motorcycle. We went to Idaho from Washington to a water park over there and just had an amazing time. So, you know, he just turned 8, and you know, I've waited all those 8 years wanting, basically. I couldn't wait to be able to take him out and do some longer motorcycle trips. And so this coming season is going to be a lot of fun. So anyhow, Erica Solo Box. I'm going to put all of this stuff back away and continue to work on the build of this batch of boxes. Most of it's spoken for, so I need to get back to work. Erica Solo Box, ride safe, everybody. I will talk to y'all later.